A man on a flight decides to target a black woman, Linda, with ridicule, unaware that the situation is about to be transformed by an unexpected passenger behind him. Linda and her teenage daughter, Sarah, have just returned from an incredible few weeks in the Dominican Republic. Exhausted but content, they reminisce about their unforgettable experiences while waiting for their flight back to Miami. This trip, intended to strengthen their family bond and provide a much-needed break from daily stresses, has been a cherished escape. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. When their flight is finally called, Linda and Sarah head to the boarding gate, looking forward to the respite of the journey. However, as they board the plane, Sarah realizes with disappointment that their seats are not together. Linda is in seat 14E, while Sarah is assigned to 18D. The plane is fully booked, and though Sarah considers asking someone to swap seats, she decides against it, accepting the separation for the sake of convenience. Linda, settling into her seat, begins to organize her belongings and peruse a magazine, attempting to distract herself. She soon becomes aware of a strange sensation. Ryan, the man seated directly behind her, seems to be scrutinizing her, his gaze unsettling. His behavior makes Linda uneasy. She senses an underlying hostility in his frequent shifting and occasional jostling, which encroaches on her personal space. Linda is tempted to strike up a conversation to diffuse the tension, but something about Ryan's demeanor dissuades her. She feels an inexplicable sense of invasion, a discomfort she can't easily shake off. Throughout the flight, the palpable tension between Linda and Ryan is felt even in the absence of confrontation. Linda gazes out of the window, watching as the sky transitions to a deep blue with the plane's ascent, trying to block out Ryan's presence and the unease it brings. The silence between them grows heavier, charged with an uncomfortable atmosphere that Linda struggles to ignore. Sarah, a few rows back, notices her mother's rigid posture and the strain in her demeanor. Concerned, she watches Linda and Ryan, trying to discern the source of the tension. Sarah is torn between her instinct to protect her mother and her apprehension about escalating the situation. Linda, meanwhile, attempts to find solace in the memories of their recent vacation. She closes her eyes briefly, savoring the recollections of sunlit beaches and joyful moments. Though these memories offer fleeting comfort, the ongoing discomfort caused by Ryan's presence remains a persistent shadow. Linda considers switching seats but ultimately decides to endure the situation, hoping the discomfort will ease as the flight progresses. Each passing minute seems to amplify the tension, making the journey feel interminable and laden with a sense of foreboding. The man begins making sarcastic comments loudly, his tone unmistakably aimed at Linda. "These flights are getting noisier every day," he says, glaring directly at her. Linda tries to brush off his provocations and maintain her composure, but her daughter Sarah, who is seated a few rows behind, notices the growing discomfort in her mother. Though she is far enough away that she can't hear the exact words, Sarah can see the strain in Linda's posture and the tension in her face. Her blood boils with anger and frustration, understanding well what's happening even from a distance. Despite her rising fury, Sarah decides to keep her calm, hoping that the man's comments will cease. But the man's taunts only intensify. He laughs loudly and makes sweeping generalizations about people who don't know how to behave in public. It's clear he is trying to provoke a reaction, and he continues to push Linda's buttons. Linda does her best to stay calm, though Sarah can see the growing rigidity in her mother's shoulders and the tightening of her jaw. The atmosphere around them begins to shift as other passengers start to notice the commotion, their curiosity piqued by the escalating situation. Then, without warning, Ryan makes a statement that cuts through the air like a knife. "I would rather not be sitting next to a black woman," he says, his voice dripping with barely concealed contempt. The cruel words hit Linda hard, and she felt her heart race with a mix of hurt and indignation. The warmth and joy of the trip seemed to evaporate in an instant replaced by a cold, painful reality. Sarah, observing from a few rows back, sees the immediate change in her mother's demeanor and is overtaken by a powerful mix of anger and sorrow. It is the first time Sarah has witnessed her mother being so directly targeted by racism, and it leaves her feeling both protective and enraged. Despite her urge to confront Ryan on the spot, she holds back, weighing the potential consequences of acting impulsively. Linda takes a deep breath, struggling to maintain her composure as she searches for the right words. With a firm but controlled voice, she responds, "Everyone has the right to sit where they are assigned." Her response is a testament to her resolve not to let Ryan's racism undermine her dignity. She stands her ground, determined not to let his hateful remarks unsettle her completely. However, Ryan's response only adds fuel to the fire. He coldly replies, "You should just keep quiet and accept that I have a right to my opinions and personal comfort." His words are another harsh blow to Linda, who now faces not only his blatant racism, but also his arrogance in justifying his offensive stance. The insult reverberates in Linda's mind, deepening her outrage and frustration. She struggles to understand how anyone could be so insensitive and intolerant. From her vantage point a few rows back, Sarah watches the entire exchange unfold with growing concern. She wants to shield her mother from the emotional toll of this confrontation, yet she feels a compelling need to address the injustice head-on. As Sarah sees her mother's dignity under assault, her determination solidifies. Ignoring the disapproving glances of other passengers who are beginning to take notice of the scene, Sarah stands up from her seat. With a voice choked with emotion but firm in its resolve, she confronts Ryan. "How could you say something so horrible?" she demands, her words cutting through the tense atmosphere. Her intervention draws the attention of nearby passengers, who now observe the unfolding drama with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Sarah remains unperturbed by the disapproving glances from those around her. Her foremost concern is to stand up for and protect her mother against what she perceives as a clear and egregious injustice. When Ryan is confronted by Sarah's direct challenge, he is momentarily taken aback, unable to find the right words to defend his actions. His initial attempts to justify himself fall flat in the face of the intense emotions swirling in the cabin. The mounting disapproval from the other passengers further compounds his discomfort, leaving him unsure of how to navigate the escalating situation. Amid this charged standoff, Linda is overwhelmed by a tumultuous mix of pride and anxiety. She feels a deep sense of admiration for Sarah's bravery in standing up to Ryan, but she is also apprehensive about the possibility of the conflict spiraling out of control. Grasping Sarah's hand, Linda offers a silent but powerful gesture of solidarity, her eyes locked on the unfolding drama with a mix of concern and support. As the tension continues to build, a flight attendant arrives to address the disturbance. She approaches with the intent to de-escalate the situation discreetly, fully aware of the potential ramifications such an incident can have on the comfort and safety of all passengers. Her goal is to mediate the conflict while minimizing any further disruption. Ryan, however, reacts defensively to the flight attendant's intervention. He accuses Linda and Sarah of harassment, a surprising and perplexing turn of events for both mother and daughter. Despite the false allegations, Sarah remains resolute. With a clear and unwavering tone, she explains to the flight attendant that Ryan's verbal abuse directed at her mother is rooted in racial prejudice. She emphasizes that the core issue is Ryan's discriminatory conduct, rather than any unjustified response from Linda and herself. The flight attendant, now at the heart of the delicate situation, carefully considers Sarah's account and observes Ryan's defensive posture. She seeks a balanced resolution, aiming to diffuse the tension without exacerbating the already fraught atmosphere. Her priority is to restore a sense of calm and mutual respect among the passengers, while also acknowledging the gravity of Sarah's claims of racial discrimination. As the situation unfolds, some passengers begin to openly support Linda and Sarah. A few express their outrage at Ryan's behavior, condemning his overt racism. Others remain more reserved, mindful of the sensitive nature of the issue and the emotional impact it may have on the flight's dynamics. Undeterred by Ryan's baseless accusations, Sarah approaches the flight attendant again. She articulates in detail the nature of Ryan's racist remarks and the emotional toll they have taken on her mother. Recognizing the seriousness of the matter, the flight attendant decides to escalate the situation by reporting it to the captain. Upon being informed, the captain promptly takes charge of the situation. Understanding the importance of maintaining order and respect on board, he addresses Ryan directly. The captain firmly instructs Ryan to either correct his behavior or face the possibility of being removed from the flight. His authoritative presence and decisive action underscore a strong message: discriminatory behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated during the flight. As the conflict between Linda, Sarah, and Ryan unfolds, a growing chorus of support begins to resonate from the surrounding passengers. The cabin, once filled with murmurs of tension, now hums with a mixture of indignation and empathy. Several passengers voice their outrage at Ryan's discriminatory behavior, expressing their solidarity with Linda and Sarah in their stand against racism. They echo their disapproval of Ryan's actions, their voices rising in a collective stance against injustice. However, not everyone is quick to react. Some passengers remain cautious, fully aware of the sensitivity surrounding the issue and the potential emotional fallout that might influence the flight's atmosphere. They watch intently, understanding that the situation has the potential to escalate and impact the entire journey. In the face of Ryan's insensitivity, Linda is overwhelmed by a complex blend of sadness and anger. She struggles to maintain her composure, her emotions visibly strained as she fights to stay calm amidst the chaos. Sarah, observing her mother's distress, feels a surge of protective anger and determination. She is resolute in her resolve to uphold her mother's dignity and ensure that Ryan faces consequences for his actions. After Linda and Sarah report the incident to the flight attendant, the seriousness of the situation is quickly recognized. The atmosphere in the cabin grows more tense as the flight attendant relays the issue to the captain. The captain, with a stern and authoritative demeanor, approaches Ryan, making it clear that his behavior is unacceptable. He warns Ryan that he must either amend his behavior or face the possibility of being removed from the flight. This intervention begins to shift the dynamic, introducing a sense of accountability and authority into the scenario. The solidarity from the other passengers, now actively voicing their support and frustration, enhances the feeling that justice might be served. Their collective outrage and encouragement provide Linda and Sarah with a tangible sense of backing, bolstering their resolve. Amidst the growing solidarity, one passenger stands up with a serious yet resolute expression. His presence commands attention as he makes his way towards Linda and Sarah. Introducing himself as a civil rights attorney named Mark, he explains that he has been observing the situation from the beginning. Mark, accustomed to dealing with issues of discrimination and injustice, feels a moral obligation to assist. He extends his hand and offers Linda his business card, saying, "My name is Mark. I'm a civil rights attorney. I witnessed what happened here, and I am prepared to help you if you choose to pursue legal action against Ryan. Such behavior is unacceptable, and you have every right to seek justice." Linda, still reeling from the confrontation, looks down at the business card in her hand. A wave of relief and gratitude washed over her as she processes Mark's offer of support. His presence represents a crucial ally amid this distressing experience. Sarah, standing beside her mother, also feels a renewed sense of determination. The prospect of legal support strengthens her resolve to ensure that Ryan's actions do not go unchallenged. The sight of Mark's intervention reinvigorates the passengers' sense of unity. Many offer words of encouragement, while others engage in animated discussions about the importance of confronting racism and discrimination head-on. The energy in the cabin shifts, reflecting a collective commitment to justice and fairness. Ryan, now acutely aware of the repercussions of his actions, begins to show signs of discomfort. The realization that his attempts to portray himself as a victim have backfired weighs heavily on him. The growing awareness that he could face not only immediate consequences on the flight, but also potential legal repercussions contributes to his evident unease. Attempting to avoid the disapproving stares of the other passengers, Ryan shifts uneasily in his seat as the flight continues. The flight attendant returns with the news that the captain has decided to report the incident to the airline's headquarters. This assurance promises a thorough investigation, signaling that the matter will be treated with the seriousness it deserves. With the support of Sarah and Mark, Linda feels bolstered to face the forthcoming steps. Mark sits beside them, beginning to outline the possible legal avenues they can pursue. He emphasizes the importance of documenting every detail of the incident and discusses the potential legal ramifications of Ryan's behavior. Sarah listens intently, her resolve solidifying as she absorbs the information, determined to ensure that her mother's experience leads to meaningful justice. Mark's presence on the plane catalyzes a dramatic shift from an atmosphere of tension to one of resolve and solidarity. As the situation unfolds, other passengers begin to take notice and step forward, offering their testimonies and support for Linda and Sarah. They recognize that what they are witnessing transcends a mere in-flight disturbance. It is a moment of profound significance in the fight for justice and equality. Their willingness to stand with Linda and Sarah transforms the incident into a powerful demonstration of resistance and dignity. With Mark, a civil rights lawyer, by their side, Linda and Sarah find renewed strength. They are now prepared to face the challenges ahead with determination, resolved to turn this painful encounter into a meaningful struggle against racism and discrimination. The flight to Miami continues under a tense atmosphere, but the presence of Mark begins to alter the dynamics on board. Ryan, who initially sought to portray himself as the victim, now finds himself under intense scrutiny. The shift in the passengers' and crew's attitudes pressures him, making him increasingly uncomfortable. The captain, having intervened and issued a stern warning to Ryan to maintain appropriate behavior, adds to the growing pressure. Ryan's attempt to undermine Linda and Sarah's dignity is met with a unified stand from the other passengers and the crew, signaling that such behavior will not be tolerated. This collective response not only challenges Ryan's actions but also highlights a broader commitment to upholding justice and equality, turning a difficult situation into a testament to collective strength and solidarity. The flight attendant, after conferring with the captain, reappears in the aisle, her demeanor reflecting a blend of professionalism and resolve. She approaches Ryan with a calm yet authoritative presence. In a measured tone, she addresses him, stating clearly that his behavior is unacceptable and that he must make a public apology to both Linda and Sarah. Ryan's initial reaction is one of defiance, but as he scans the faces of the surrounding passengers, many of whom are now casting disapproving glances in his direction, he begins to sense the gravity of the situation. Linda observes this turn of events with a turbulent mix of emotions. The sting of Ryan's racist remarks lingers, but she also feels a burgeoning sense of justice and support as the situation unfolds. The flight attendant's intervention and the passengers' silent condemnation provide a glimmer of validation in the face of adversity. Sarah, standing firm beside her mother, remains vigilant and resolute. Her presence is a silent pledge of solidarity, ensuring Linda that she is not alone in this moment of confrontation. Feeling increasingly cornered and pressured by the collective scrutiny, Ryan eventually rises from his seat, his body language betraying a deep discomfort. His face reflects reluctance and unease as he takes in the sea of expectant faces around him. He clears his throat, his voice trembling slightly as he begins to speak. "I want to say I'm sorry," he says, the sincerity of his apology marred by his visible struggle to articulate it. "What I said was wrong and offensive. I apologize to you, Linda, and to you, Sarah, for my behavior." A hushed silence falls over the cabin as everyone awaits Linda and Sarah's response. Linda, drawing upon every ounce of her dignity and strength, gazes directly at Ryan. The hurt from his words is palpable, yet she recognizes that deciding whether to accept his apology is a deeply personal and nuanced choice. Sarah, standing close by, experiences a complex swirl of emotions. While she feels a measure of relief that the situation is being addressed, she also grapples with frustration, knowing that no apology can fully undo the impact of Ryan's words. Despite this, she firmly holds her mother's hand, conveying a powerful message of support and solidarity. Gradually, a single passenger begins to applaud, and the sound reverberates through the cabin. The initial solitary clapping is soon joined by others until the entire aircraft is filled with a chorus of applause. This collective show of appreciation is not merely in response to Ryan's apology, but is also a powerful demonstration of solidarity with Linda and Sarah. It represents a unified stand against racism and discrimination, a moment where the passengers come together as a community. Linda is overwhelmed by a surge of emotions: gratitude, relief, and an invigorated sense of strength. As she surveys the cabin, she sees the faces of passengers reflecting varying degrees of support and empathy. Each individual's reaction contributes to a collective reassurance that resonates deeply with both her and Sarah. For Sarah, standing alongside her mother, the experience is both profound and affirming. The act of applauding may seem simple, but in this context, it becomes a potent symbol of justice and unity. Mark, the lawyer who has been observing from his seat, allows a slight smile to form on his lips. He understands that the fight against discrimination is a long and challenging journey, yet moments like these are meaningful victories. He leans in toward Linda and Sarah, offering whispered words of encouragement that remind them they are not alone in their struggle. The applause continues for a few more moments before it gradually subsides, leaving behind a palpable sense of relief and camaraderie in the cabin. The atmosphere feels lighter, imbued with a renewed sense of justice and community, highlighting that positive change is possible even in difficult circumstances. Noting that some tension remains, the flight attendant steps forward once more. "We appreciate your apology, sir," she says to Ryan, her tone firm but measured. "We hope this incident serves as a reminder to everyone about the importance of respect and dignity." The passengers, having closely observed the entire situation, begin to express their support for Linda and Sarah in various ways. Some offer quiet words of encouragement, while others cast disapproving looks at Ryan, reinforcing the collective stance that racism and discrimination have no place on this flight. Mark, the civil rights attorney who has been a steadfast presence by Linda and Sarah's side throughout the ordeal, leans in with a reassuring tone and whispers, "If you need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. We're committed to ensuring that justice is served, one way or another." His words, filled with both empathy and determination, offer Linda and Sarah a sense of reassurance amid the unsettling situation. Recognizing the gravity of the incident and the impact it has had on Linda and Sarah, the flight captain decides that further actions are necessary to restore their dignity and provide them with the respect they deserve. With this in mind, the flight attendant approaches Linda and Sarah, her expression warm and considerate. "The captain would like to speak with you both," she says gently, guiding them towards the front of the plane. Linda and Sarah exchange a glance of curiosity and tentative hope as they rise from their seats and follow the flight attendant down the aisle. The passengers around them observe the unfolding scene with keen interest, their whispers reflecting a mix of sympathy and anticipation. As Linda and Sarah reach the front of the cabin, the flight attendant opens the curtain that separates the economy class from the first class. "Please make yourselves comfortable here," she says, indicating two spacious, plush seats in the first class section. Linda and Sarah are taken aback by the unexpected gesture but are grateful for the opportunity to sit in a more serene and accommodating environment. They settle into their seats, taking a moment to absorb the change in their surroundings. A few moments later, the captain's voice comes through the plane's public address system, commanding the attention of everyone on board. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I would like to take a moment to address an important issue that occurred during our flight. An unfortunate incident involving two of our passengers, Linda and Sarah, who were subjected to racist comments, has come to our attention. On behalf of the entire crew and the airline, I want to extend our deepest apologies to both of you for this distressing experience. We are taking this matter very seriously and are committed to addressing it appropriately. The announcement reverberates through the cabin, met with a range of responses from the passengers, some nodding in agreement, others murmuring words of support. The acknowledgement from the captain underscores the seriousness with which the airline is treating the incident and reflects a commitment to rectifying the situation. The passengers listened with rapt attention, many exchanging approving glances and nods. The captain's voice, steady and reassuring, fills the cabin as a small but meaningful gesture of our sincere regret, and in recognition of their dignity, we have extended an invitation to Linda and Sarah to move to first class for the remainder of the flight. He pauses, allowing the significance of his words to sink in. We hope that this act serves as a testament to our unwavering commitment to justice and respect. Almost immediately, a wave of murmured approval sweeps through the cabin, quickly crescendoing into enthusiastic applause. The clapping intensifies as passengers rise to their feet, giving a standing ovation that resonates with genuine support. Some passengers even whistle and cheer, adding to the growing sense of celebration. The sound of applause echoes throughout the plane, enveloping the entire cabin in an atmosphere of solidarity and collective triumph. Linda, now seated in the plush comfort of first class, experiences a whirlwind of emotions. Her face is illuminated by tears, but these are not tears of sadness, they are tears of profound relief, unexpected joy, and a deep sense of justice being served. Beside her, Sarah clutches her mother's hand tightly, her heart swelling with pride and a renewed sense of connection. The two share a moment of silent understanding, their bond strengthened by the support and recognition they have received. "That's more than deserved," says one of the passengers in the aisle, turning to another seated nearby. "I hope they know that we're all standing with them." Mark, the civil rights lawyer, is among the crowd applauding. He makes his way over to Linda and Sarah, his face a mix of concern and support. This isn't the end of the road, he tells them reassuringly, but it's a significant step forward. You both are incredibly strong, and this moment marks just the beginning of a larger journey. The flight attendant returns, balancing 2 glasses of champagne on a tray, and hands them to Linda and Sarah with a warm and empathetic smile. "We hope you can find some comfort and enjoyment for the rest of your flight," she says, her tone both soothing and encouraging, as the applause continues to fill the cabin. As the clapping subsides, the atmosphere on the plane is transformed. What was once a space marked by division and hate has now become a symbol of unity and justice. Linda and Sarah, seated comfortably in first class, are enveloped by the collective support and solidarity of their fellow passengers. The next few moments are marked by a flurry of smiles, encouraging words, and thoughtful gestures. Passengers share their personal stories and experiences, underscoring a collective resolve that discrimination will not be tolerated. Despite the distressing start to their journey, Linda and Sarah now feel an overwhelming sense of support and strength. As they sit together, Linda looks at her daughter with a gaze full of pride and admiration. "You were extraordinary, my daughter," she says, her voice filled with emotion. "Your strength gave me the courage to stand tall." Sarah returns her mother's gaze with a warm smile, squeezing her hand gently. "You've always been my role model, Mom. We can't let this moment pass without making sure it's recognized." The flight attendant returns with another round of champagne, and the two women raise their glasses in a toast to their resilience and the powerful solidarity they've experienced. Civil rights lawyer Mark sits next to Linda and Sarah, his presence a beacon of hope as they prepare to discuss the crucial next steps. What Ryan did is unacceptable, he asserts firmly, his tone resolute. You have every right to pursue justice, and I am here to guide you through this process. Linda and Sarah exchanged a look of renewed determination, their resolve visibly strengthening. What do we need to do? Linda inquires, her voice now imbued with newfound confidence. Mark begins to outline the procedure, explaining each step with clarity and precision. First, we need to compile all the evidence we can gather, he says. This includes testimonies from fellow passengers, the official cruise report, and any recordings that might be available. This evidence will be critical in demonstrating the severity of the situation and building a solid case against Ryan for discrimination and harassment. As Mark speaks, the surrounding passengers, still deeply affected by the recent events, begin to rally around Linda and Sarah. I will stand by you, declares a woman sitting across the aisle, her voice filled with conviction. I witnessed everything, and I am ready to testify on your behalf. A man seated nearby nods in agreement, adding, count me in as well. We cannot let this injustice go unchallenged. I am prepared to assist in any way I can. Linda feels a profound sense of warmth and solidarity emanating from the growing support of those around her. It is a powerful feeling that fortifies her resolve. Taking a deep breath, she turns to Sarah with a determined glint in her eye. Let's do this not just for ourselves, but for everyone who has faced something like this and felt powerless. Sarah, her eyes alight with determination, responds with equal fervor. Yes, let's fight for what's right. Mark observes their unwavering resolve with admiration and approval. Excellent, he says with a reassuring smile. As soon as we land, we'll begin taking the necessary legal actions. I'll be with you every step of the way. Throughout the remainder of the flight, Linda and Sarah undergo a profound transformation. The initial pain and anger they experience begin to dissolve, replaced by a strong sense of purpose and empowerment. They engage with more passengers, many of whom share their own stories and offer their support, helping to build a network of solidarity that stretches across the cabin. The flight attendant, who had witnessed the entire ordeal, returns to check on them. If you need anything at all, don't hesitate to ask, she says warmly. You're incredibly brave for standing up like this. Linda returns the smile with heartfelt gratitude. Thank you. We feel stronger now. And that's thanks to all of you. As the plane descends, Linda and Sarah experience a profound sense of tranquility. The journey, though fraught with challenges and pain, has ultimately forged a deep bond between them. This ordeal has not only united them, but has also elevated them as symbols of resilience and dignity. As the wheels of the plane make contact with the runway, a wave of applause erupts from the passengers. This is not merely a celebration of the plane's safe landing, but a tribute to the remarkable courage and resolve they have witnessed firsthand. Mark, who has been a steadfast ally, rises from his seat, ready to lead Linda and Sarah through the upcoming stages of their fight. His voice, full of conviction, breaks through the murmur of the cabin. Let us begin our fight for justice. His words are a rallying call, a declaration of their shared commitment to the cause. Linda and Sarah rise to their feet, their hearts steeled and spirits bolstered. As they make their way down the aisle and toward the exit, they are acutely aware of the profound connection they share not only with each other but with a broader community that stands firmly in solidarity. The support from the passengers remains strong and unwavering, with many offering heartfelt words of encouragement. A man with a warm smile says, "You'll make it. We're rooting for you." Each expression of support reinforces their resolve, filling them with a renewed sense of purpose and strength. Stepping off the plane, Linda and Sarah understand that their struggle is no longer just about personal justice. It has evolved into a larger battle, one that holds the potential to affect significant change for many others. They are driven by the knowledge that their actions resonate beyond their individual experiences, and their journey is now part of a greater movement for justice and equality. Thank you for joining us on this powerful journey. We've seen a moving display of solidarity and strength in the face of adversity, reminding us of the importance of standing up against discrimination and supporting one another. What has this story taught you so far? What is one key lesson you've learned that you will carry forward into your own life? We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. If you liked this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content.